Hello everyone and welcome to the Gooner Factory. So Arsenal seem to be making a move for a striker in January. And the two leading names at the minute are Mayoral, a Spanish striker, and Zirkzee, a Dutch striker. There's two key differences though between these two players. But there's a story from Sky saying that Arsenal have already submitted a bid for one of them. So I'll tell you why I would prefer to pull the trigger on one of these players, but not quite for the reason that a lot of you might be thinking. So let's get into it. So the two names on the list, Joshua Zirkzee, a 22-year-old ex-Bayern Munich player, 6'4" target man, and he's rated at £50 million. And the second is Getafe striker Mayoral, a 26-year-old Spanish striker, and this is the player Arsenal have apparently submitted a bid of £22 million for. Getafe have rejected it. They said they want £39 million. So I'm just going to take a quick look now at their past 3 seasons to see how many goals both these players have scored, okay? So first of all, let's look at Mayoral. And in 19 games so far this season, he's scored 12 goals in the league, which is a respectable number. In the Copa del Rey, he's played 3 games and he's got 2 goals. So all in all, 14 goals so far this season. That is fairly decent. I mean, the only concern I would have with this player is maybe his age profile. You know, he's 26 years old and I haven't really heard his name bandied about amongst top teams in the past. So maybe he's come out of nowhere and maybe you could question his consistency. So let's look at last season. He had 32 games and 8 goals. 3 games in the cup and only 1 goal. So again, you can see there that this is not really a prolific striker because last season he still would have been 25 years old, which is still another year older than Eddie Nketiah. But we'll give him the benefit of the doubt. Let's look the year before that. Okay, so it was Serie A, 31 games and 10 goals. So maybe you would look at those numbers and think, right, in my opinion, this guy isn't good enough. But hold on just a second because let's look at Eddie Nketiah's numbers, okay? He's 24 years old, so he's obviously 2 years younger. So far this season, 19 games, 5 goals. So Mayoral is more than double that. So let's look at last season for Eddie because we know he played a lot of games last season. So 30 games and 4 goals. So Eddie Nketiah's numbers are not looking favourable at the minute. So the year before that, he had 21 games and 5 goals. So if you're looking strictly at the numbers, you would have to say Mayoral is a better option than Eddie Nketiah. So would I sell Eddie and bring this guy in? Yes, absolutely. Look at those numbers and the numbers will tell you you're getting a better player. But, like I said, I would only do this on one condition. I would only do this deal if Mayoral is the option instead of Eddie. I wouldn't want to bring Mayoral in as the main striker. And I think that's the point we need to focus on. Mayoral, if brought in, wouldn't be the number 1 striker for Arsenal. This should probably be the number 2 or a rotational striker. Because he's obviously better than Eddie Nketiah. And in terms of fee, they're probably a similar amount. You know, we're hearing numbers bandied about of Eddie Nketiah that we could bring in 30 million. And like I said earlier, we've bid 22 for Mayoral, but they want 39. So maybe we can settle at about 30 million. So all you're doing is you're selling Eddie for 30 and you're bringing in a better striker for the same price. So that is a no-brainer. So let's look at this Zirkzee guy because he's obviously 22, so he's a better age profile, but the price is significantly higher at 50 million. Now, the added benefits of this, of course, is he's an ex-Bayern Munich player, so he's played for a big team before. So let's look at his numbers. So this season so far, 19 games, 7 goals. So you would say that's probably similar to Eddie Nketiah. Slightly higher, of course. He's got 2 more goals and he is of a younger age profile. So that looks interesting for sure. So let's look at last season. 19 games and 2 goals. So you look at that and you think, come on, we shouldn't be going anywhere near this guy. I guess the only bonus is he was so young. He was probably 20 that season. So what kind of player is he? He's more of a target man. I would say at the minute, he's probably Giroud minus the elegance and minus the goals because in terms of numbers, Giroud actually got quite a lot of goals. So let's look at his breakout year. So the year before that, he was in the Belgian Pro League and he did score 15 goals in 32 games. So he probably would have been an 18 or 19-year-old striker at that time in a Belgian first division, like the Premier Division, scoring 15 goals in 32 games. So this is why this player's been picked up and been given an opportunity somewhere. He does have the ability to score goals. Like I said, he is a big, tall player. And positionally, he's actually very good. He gets himself into good positions for quite a big guy. The only thing I would say, you know, he is 6'4", so he comes across as fairly clumsy at times. But this would definitely be a developmental player. But you have to factor into the picture that this guy would cost £50 million. So do you want to go and spend £50 million on what would essentially be a developmental backup striker? So not only are you going to spend the 30 million on on that you're getting in from Eddie, you're going to go ahead and put another £20 million on top of that to bring in a player who's still only developmental. So in my opinion, this guy looks interesting, but I wouldn't be pulling the trigger on this deal. I would be focusing more on the Mayoral deal. I think that looks like a very interesting profile of player. Like I said, he's 26 years old. He's scored a significant amount of goals this season already. He looks full of confidence. If you see some of his clips, he looks like a striker that gets himself into great positions. He can take a player on, but he scores what would seem to be a similar amount of goals on his left and right foot. So this is a player that will be scoring the whole way across the front line. He does prefer to be playing in that number 9 position, and if you watch him play, you will see why. Very confident shooter. The ball gets played in a lot from the wide areas for Getafe, and he hits it first time, and that's where he picks up a lot of his goals. And you would have to assume with players like Saka and Martinelli that do whip that ball in, this would be a great addition for that number 9 position, because the balls that are getting whipped in, and most of the time not picked up by Arsenal's number 9, Mayoral would be knocking in a number of them for sure. And this guy comes from a good school. He was a Real Madrid Academy graduate, so great school in there, great technical ability. Being a Spanish player, you would automatically assume that, because players in La Liga usually are of a high technical ability, which would be advantageous for Mikel Arteta, because he likes playing that technical fast football. So Mayoral, in my opinion, is definitely a great option, and that is the option that I would be going for. In my opinion, we sell Eddie Nketiah in January. If the offers from Crystal Palace and West Ham do come in for 30 million, I think you do this deal, and I think you go out there and pay the 39 million, or you probably negotiate that down slightly to a similar number for Eddie, and then I think you're swapping Eddie Nketiah for, yeah, maybe a striker that's 2 years older, but you're getting a striker who is significantly more prolific. But I'd love to know everyone's thoughts in the comments section, so get them down below, and I'll speak to you all in tomorrow's video. Gooners, have a good day.